I have my Halloween shirt for this themed vlog we're gonna do. So hopefully I'm posting this around Halloween because I want to challenge myself to read thrillers and like horrors. I have a couple on my TBR and then I just like never find myself reading them, so I thought I would challenge myself to film this and to therefore have myself read what I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. So this is the TBR. I don't know if I'll read all 5, but I have them nonetheless. I have Dark Matter, which I believe is a sci-fi horror. Then I have One of Our Kind, which I picked this up at my local indie bookstore and I don't really know, I forgot what it's about. One of Our Kind is a razor sharp satire about resistance, trauma, community, and the Black experience in America. Like that. Then we have Eulogy for the Undead. I think this is like a queer love story in the time of like the apocalypse, zombies. It's also horror. Then we have The Other Black Girl, which I think is another like, she's an assistant, kind of Devil Wears Prada, but make it like horror, and I think make it have like social commentary. There's that one. And then, since this trilogy is done, The Helm of Midnight, which is a, I've picked this up and softened up this book, look, see, 2 other times because I already knew I was going to like it so much and I thought it was a duology, and then I found out it was a trilogy, so I just stopped. But it's completed now. But it's about these masks that you make before you die that have like all of your memories and thoughts in them. So like if you're a world-renowned surgeon, you would put all of like your classical trained knowledge into it, as well as like your lived experience. And then if I wanted to buy said mask, because I think you can buy them, or you can also I think rent time with them, I would put it on and I'd have all of the personality and understanding of this classically trained surgeon. And then I could perform, I guess, like surgeries. Because I know from what I remember in the first, like, when I got up to page 78, a serial killer's mask is like on the loose. Someone takes it, but also this girly pop, another character, like, gets this mask of this surgeon, but they start to like lose their mind. I think are a little evil when they made their mask. And so when she puts it on, I don't think she like does it because someone in her family is like ailing. And she ends up like taking on his personality, and she wasn't prepared for that. But that's 78 pages, and I could be 100% wrong because I've had this book for 3 years. So this is relatively what we're picking for. The dream actually would be for me to read all 5 of these, because I think these are honestly all 5 of the horror and or thrillers I have available. And I thought I would also film this in moody lighting to fit the vibe. And on cue, my AC. So I'll catch you guys in the next clip. So I feel like I knew this was going to be a sad and tough book, and yet here I am surprised I'm crying. I just like, it's horrible. The worst part about dying isn't the actual dying. I don't even have to try for that. No, the worst part about dying is trying to figure out how to leave the ones you love. How can I leave Jude? That's tough. I have a dentist appointment later. Why did I do this? stressful. Ugh. That was sad. I don't know why I did that to myself. You meet Jake and Lyle, or Jude and Lyle, and you kind of follow their love story pre zombie apocalypse, during the zombie apocalypse, and after the zombie apocalypse, and it's very sad in certain parts. And I really thought I could read this because I was like, oh, surely, like, I had forgotten the plot. I knew it was a zombie apocalypse and it was about two guys in love, and I was like, okay, yeah. And I didn't read the back. And so I knew it was gonna be sad. However, I just rolled with the punches and I sobbed this morning. My eyes actually hurt. I was just unprepared. I was like, can you see the dog tags? Dog ears. It was a short little novella. It's narrated by different people, so you get, it's not like a duet, but it's just two different narrators, and I really feel like that was like a nice compliment to this novella. Oof, it hurt my feelings, but I'm glad I read it. All right, I have the audiobook. I'm scared. I'm not even gonna lie. Up and loaded for One of a Kind. So I'm gonna try out at least, fingers crossed, 1 hour of this, because I was like, I don't want to get too riled up because it is very close to bedtime. They're all acting weird. But she's like, maybe I was just misjudged. And I'm gonna be like, girl, has your gut instinct ever failed you in the real world? Has your intuition ever been wrong? Please listen to it, which obviously she's not going to until like later, right? I only got this far in. I'm back. I've got about 90 minutes, about 2 hours to read. So we're gonna make some progress. Watch me get to the really good part before I have to go to my volunteer meeting. But anyways, are we ready? I'm not ready. Actually, I kind of am. Oh, I have 10 minutes, so I have to go. Let's see if I can do this. I think her husband is already white. Here's the premise of the story. Jasmine is our main character. She's married to King. They have a child, Kamal. She's currently pregnant. She's a public defender. He does something. A venture capitalist. I don't fucking know. His boss founded a city, a black utopia of sorts, where it's just all black people, you know? And he wants to move there, and she's hesitant because she's like, no. She's very much about community work. She's in her community. She knows people. She's aware. She's helping. She really likes to be in that, right? And he keeps trying to convince her, and she's hesitant until they have like this run-in with a cop, and it doesn't go poorly. The cop was aggressive. However, it's more of like the fear because her son makes a comment about like, my daddy said a bad word, and the fear she has that like it's gonna like end horrifically in their death. And so then she gets upset, like, why didn't you tell him? Why haven't you had the talk with him? He's like, I want him to keep his innocence. And so they go back and forth, and then finally she laments because she's like, well, I guess let's go to the Black Utopia, Liberty. She gets there, things are weird. but she's greeted with like a wellness package, and the lady is weird. And her internal thought is like, I don't got time to go to the spa, babes. I have work to do. The work never ends. Which I counter with, you know, you got to take care of yourself. Because how can you fill everybody else's cup if you don't fill your cup? You know, because she's like, self-care is like community care, which it is. Well, so you can't, you know, you can't run yourself ragged. Oh, my AC's about to kick on. To help your community, you got to help yourself a little bit too. But, you know, live your best life, Jasmine. Who am I to tell you how and what to do with your body and your life? So, yeah. So we're just here. And the question we have now figured out, or I think you would imagine you're picking up on the cues, that they're turning the people white. Via the, like, wellness center. And so I think her husband's already started the Kool-Aid process, for sure. And I'm kind of interested. I need to know, like, what is going on? Because, I don't know. Because then, also, I just have questions how it works. Because then I would imagine, I'm just thinking of all the technical things of, like, well, if you just sucked and erased the blackness out of somebody. Because she keeps talking about how, like, light brown their eyes are. And how some of them have very Eurocentric features. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, so are we changing? Eye shape and color? Nose shapes? Hair type? Are these treatments changing people on a cellular level? So does that mean there's not a little tiny black person living inside them, like, get out? That's, like, gone. I don't know what I thought this was gonna be. I think, you know what I think I thought? I think reading the back, I thought that maybe what was gonna happen was that they were just gonna turn into black people who didn't, like, black Republicans. I think that's what I thought this was gonna be. And I don't think that's it. Actually, I don't know. What am I talking about? What am I yapping about? My eye is twitching too. And I have 3 minutes to this meeting. I don't want to go. Maybe I'll update you now when I'm done with the book. Yeah. See you then. Alright, bad news bears. We're DNFing this because it's too slow. I had 100 pages left and I was like, I can't do this, dude. I can't. I did read the last chapter and the epilogue. So, if you don't want spoilers, leave now, or you've been warned. So, you know how I thought they were just like going up to the wellness center and slowly turning white? No, incorrect. I mean, correct and not correct. King is not turning white. He has been in on it the whole time, and the strength that he's selling helps aid the body in the ability to erase their blackness. And the people who set up this Black Utopia are in on it as well. Because here's the thing, they believe in giving in. Because right where I end, she has a conversation with, like, the founder, and they're talking about race relations and racism and all the systems, and she's like, well, you have to keep fighting and do the good work and all this stuff, and he's like, no, da da da, and she's like, so what do you want to do, just like give up? And he's like, no, give in. And I was like, that's an odd thing to say, my man. And you find out that the giving in is that they just erase blackness from the people who moved there. And so all of the I guess the main guy was like, I've been fascinated with the idea of passing and what that means. And I thought, what does it mean to pass as a black person, you know, white passing back in the day. And so apparently he's been fascinated. And every one of these surgeons who is here and or to erase the blackness of said people have had someone murdered by the cops. And that is their motivation, is to, like, never deal with, I guess, that grief again. And so he was like, well, if black people can pass, what does that look like, and how can I make the rest of all these black people pass? But not only that, there's like a therapist there who likes to take account, because she pretends she's told them she's researching, but in reality she wants all of their black trauma, because then she goes in and erases their mind. So you have all these surgeons who then do like rhinoplasties. What others, like, I guess like eye surgeries to like lighten the irises, all kinds of things. And then like skin grafts. There's a doctor who does skin grafts. I can't. And then she goes in and she just wipes the memory. However, not everyone can have their memory wiped. So your family has to have a sponsor, which is where the king comes in, because his company made the drinks. He works under Carlton. He's been down bad for this because his brother died, was murdered by the cops. And so he gets to keep all of his memories, but then he will become white too. And he's like, no, don't worry. We'll never have to stress or freak out about anything. Our children will never be judged. So we're just going to be white. And she's like, I cannot believe you would do this. Please, because she, you can tell, very much loves being black and enjoys her blackness and being a part of the black community, and wouldn't trade being black, well, for the world. I don't really know. I mean, I am not her, but I feel like that's very much her vibe. She wants better for herself and other black people. And so the idea of like losing her blackness is like wild, and she's quite devastated in this moment. But yeah, so it wasn't just that you'd go up and got a few things and it was like sinister. It was like, no, each family has a sponsor, and they lure their family into liberty, prep them, erase their memories, bleach their skin, and then send them out into the world with new memories as white people. Except for the person who sponsored the family, they get to keep the memories of being black and everything else. They don't get their minds fucked with, so they can make sure that the experiment works. What is happening? But it was just moving too slow. It's not even that long of a thriller. It's like not even 300 pages, but I was like, for the love of everything, I need this to end. There's like genuinely no suspense. I was just like, okay. So I don't know what we're gonna read next. Because I have, what is it, The Other Black Girl, which is another, like, I am partial to a thriller that happens to have societal commentary. And that one, I would imagine, I think also has, actually, let's see. Here's hoping that this one's fast paced. It says, the sharp compulsive thriller you need. Shondaland. Harris isn't afraid of taking risks in this book, pushing the plot to thrilling heights, funny and subversive. Harris succeeds in capturing office machinations with a deftness and grace that brings it all to life. A blistering literary thriller in this powerful story of racism, privilege, and gatekeeping's damage to the black psyche. Harris puts not just publishing on blast, but corporate America at large. But I feel like I don't want to go from one societal commentary thriller to the next. So the other two that I have is Dark Matter, but I don't have the audiobook for it. And I was thinking this is kind of what I wanted, because it's sci-fi, it'd be like a change of pace. Sad. So this is the only one that's currently available at the library. I guess we're gonna start this one. Let's see. I just think, ugh. There's been something going on with me where I just don't want to read like series. There's just something happening where all I want is like a one-shot wonder. I just want to stand alone. Bummer, because I was like, I kind of really wanted to read this one, because especially because down here it says, no, where did it say? Oh, it says right here, a mind-blowing sci-fi suspense love story mashup. I thought, oh, but also it's a man writing a love story, so you know it's got to be like a oh. Okay, well, you'll see in the next clip what I decide to read, if anything. I got a Lucky Day hold for this, and I'm 64 pages in. Here are my thoughts. It's a solid thriller. We're moving through. I didn't know what was going on, because a thing about me is I feel like people tell me something about a book, or I read the synopses at one point, and then I never look at it again, and then I forget it. It falls out of my head. So I picked this up because I think my cousin recommended it, because like her friend really liked it. And there are two, actually honestly 3 moments that I've already found kind of icky in this book. It just feels unnecessary to the story to have added those details, but whatever. I knew it was about alternate universes. Or, you know, that's my guess at 123 pages. New angle unlocked. I think something's happening with this eye. But besides that, I have this much left. And I think we've reached the part of the story where I'm over it. Like, I understand why we're all in all these other alternate universes, but I'm bored with it. I'm like, all right, let's go. You know? Yeah, I'm in this exact same spot. Different day, though. I am tired, oh, there goes my battery, of this man interacting with the Daniellas in all the other universes. Stop fucking with the timelines. Just stop. Oh, I'm so annoyed. I'm like, can we get to the part? Like, I don't know. Can we just get to the part where you're back to your Daniela so you can stop calling and hanging, harassing, stalking your non-wife / wife in alternate universes? It's weird. It's weird. I'm bored. I have like this much left and I don't care. Like, I'm like, okay, we've reached the point where you are now aware that there are probably millions of other Jasons who have rolled up into your world because Jason 2 has ruined their life, seeing as he was gone for 14 months. The man is just cosplaying multiple versions of himself. And I'm bored. And I'm like, what if I just read the last page? Because also, I really did. I read like the last, essentially, like paragraph or like the page break. And I just want to be like, he's like, no, they won't think like me because I'm going to do this. And it's like, but if you've had that thought, that means they also have had that thought. This is when it's like, it's just a continuous, like it can never stop. That's like my problem technically with time travel stuff, is that it can never stop. Someone is always time traveling. In my mind, it's always a continuous loop. But I don't know. So what if I want a DNF. I already knew 62 pages in what the deal was. And it kept me entertained for about 100 more pages, and then I'm like, okay. I just can't. Dude, I can't. I'm like, okay, whatever. Sometimes I miss the version of me when I was first reading where I couldn't catch foreshadowing or like guess the end of a book to save my life. And here we are 4 years in and I'm like, yeah. Plot twist. I forgot I had this one. This is probably my only other horror thriller type book. And then I really didn't want to start Midnight Helm again because I was like, I don't want to get invested in a trilogy. I just don't. And then I was like, I'm not ready. And or wanting to read the other Black Girls. So I picked up I Was a Teenage Slasher. And honestly, I've made it halfway through the book because I'm here. This is in one sitting. I just like put it on and went rocking and rolling. I am not going to read the synopsis because all I know is that this was a Literally Dead book club selection a while ago, a year ago, and I never read it for the book club. And so now it feels only fitting that a year and some change later that I would read it, and I'm interested in enough that I'm like, what is going on? Right now I'm just learning the story of our character, Tolly, who at one point was a teenage slasher. And I guess possibly telling his story for somebody to read, to reach out to his loved ones, to show like how sorry he is for doing what he did in 1989 in West Texas. Which is really funny. This is just a little side note. My friend lives in Odessa, which if you don't know Texas lore, It's in the west, and it's like Odessa and Midland. They're like right next to each other, much like DFW and Dallas, but with the population of a tiny Texas town. And when I went to go see her, Odessa is, I guess, where all of the poorer people live. And I guess the big oil tycoons who want to live in bumfuck nowhere live in Midland. And so all of the cool things are in Midland and not Odessa. And so I went to go visit her on the many times I have gone to West Texas, and we spent like a night out on the town. It sounds so ridiculous because it's like Midland, but we went there, we went to Midland, and I think I saw something that was like the Tall City, and I was like, why is it called the Tall City? And it has something to do with the skyscrapers. There are no skyscrapers in Midland or Odessa. Anyways, they just talk about how they're from this tiny town, and that like he spent a night in like Midland in the Tall City, and he was just so excited. It was really funny. So yeah, I'm enjoying my time. I'm only stopping here because these chapters are like 80 to 100 pages long, and I just stopped the audiobook in a spot, a little page break, so that I could come back to it because it's about to be 6 o'clock, and a brand new Make Some Noise is gonna be posted in like T-minus 5 minutes, and I have to see it. Oop, there goes my AC. Okay, bye. There's a small tear in my eye because why is this sad? Why is I Was a Teenage Slasher sad right now? I'm gonna cry. What? What? That is not how I thought any of this was going to go. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh, I want to sob. I don't even know what to say. All right. I don't think I've sat on the book long enough, but I'm leaving for Austin tomorrow, so we're gonna get it. We're gonna get this done. I was just crying in the bathroom. This one, it's slow moving, but it pulls you in. It's like, I sat down the first time, looked up, and I was like 150 pages in, and I was like, whoa. And then the same thing is tonight. I sat down and I was like, okay, I have a timer. I have to get up early to travel. I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then all of a sudden I was at the end, and I was like, oh my god. And it's slow moving. It's very melancholy. And there's just something about the writing style that invites you to like just want to sit and listen to Tolly tell his story, that I just felt myself like, I guess, like entranced. And I did feel like it was a little slow, and I kind of wished, a part of me is maybe like my impatience to get other things done maybe wanted it to move faster. So it might have been honestly the perfect pace for it. I don't know, maybe in my opinion it could have moved a little bit faster, but it's just so melancholy. And then the last 10 pages really got me. I didn't expect, I'm new to the horror thriller genre, and I just didn't think I would find a horror book that was just so melancholy and so devastatingly sad, and yet full of so much love at the same time. And I guess it surprised me, it shook me. I didn't know what I was getting. I've never read from Stephen Graham Jones. It makes me want to pick up another novel for sure. And then like I reread the synopsis and it doesn't at all give away like yes and no. It just basically says that you're in La Mazda, Texas in July 1989, and it says the story of Tolly and how he was a teenage slasher, and he tells you how and why. Oh, it's just like, I'm just thinking about it. It's sad. The last 10 pages really knife to the heart. I feel like I want to give it a 4 just because like it shocked me so much by the end of how much like I'm sitting here reeling. And like how sad I feel that I was like, this was gonna be like a 3, 3.5, but I think now I have to make it a 4. And now I need to go back all the way to last year's Literally Dead book club and see what everyone else thought about this. Because was everybody else sad like me, or am I the freak? Wow. Maybe I just really like sad horror, because the other book that I've liked a lot so far has been The Elegy for the Dead, and that was devastatingly sad. So I think the next clip, I think I'll bring The Other Black Girl with me to Austin and read it while I'm there. Fingers crossed. Because I always have grand plans of getting things done and it doesn't ever happen. Well, you know, honestly it could be. I don't know. Let me not lower the standards for future me. Maybe future me gets it done. Or not lower, second guess. You know, it's a simple book. I've got the audiobook. And if I say I'm just going to read this one book and make that my mission, I'll catch you guys maybe in the daylight. Because I can't imagine recording this at nighttime at my aunt's house. Or maybe I can. Who knows? Oh. Wow. Well, I'm not going to tell you my recommendations till the end. Wow. Okay, catch me. I'm going to go grab my laptop. See you guys in the next one. Well, I'm back from my trip. And I started this while I was in Austin, while I was at Planned Parenthood, actually waiting for my appointment. And I DNF'd it. And I don't have enough interest to go back to it, because I think I realized my bookmark was in here. I've DNF'd this book twice now. So, it's going to go in my sell pile. And I think the one thing I've discovered from this whole vlog of sorts is that I definitely don't know if thrillers and horrors are for me. I've realized the two that I really enjoyed, which was I Was a Teenage Slasher and Eulogy for the Undead, both deal with grief, both deal with losing someone, and I Was a Teenage Slasher deals with friendship. And they were light horror, like they weren't scary. So maybe next year, or just in the next coming months when I buy a book, I will just look for something with those themes. Like I think I might go and read Monstrilio, because my little sister really liked it, and I think that's a book heavily based on like grief, and maybe that's like the type of vibe that I'm into. Like I thought I liked societal commentary horrors, and maybe I do, but maybe they have to like execute it in a very specific way for me to like enjoy it, you know. So yeah, I think that's all I really had to say, because at least I found 2 books that I really liked, and then I get to basically unhaul the rest of them. This was basically, if I haven't said it before, a like side quest, sell it or shelve it, and I'm selling a lot of them. I'm selling this one, I'm selling One of Our Kind, I'm selling Dark Matter. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you don't, live your best life, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.